Hi, this is me on take 3. It worked, hopefully. On to take 2, something happened and the mic was not on and a message popped up and said check. I thought it said security settings, but I think it said check your privacy settings. I might have actually even had the mic off. I'm not sure. I've never had that happen before, so I just, like, my heart dropped, like, oh my gosh, all of my videos are potentially silent. I finally turned that fan in the background off, which I don't like to do. I'll just prop this up, which I also don't like to do. I don't have a camera, unfortunately. I wanted to talk about 3 things, only because I've been tossing and turning about this stuff. Today's Monday. The 3 topics that I seem to usually talk about through the life of my channel. Well, the newer ones are about notary stuff, sometimes preparedness, mindedness, and racism in business and professionalism. Inside of, like, professional business, not just, I mean, even, I had worked at Pizza Hut, and I keep telling people that was a corporate job, and they're looking at me like I'm stupid. I wasn't going to joke to this. It's a corporate, it doesn't exist. It's now Hut. Like, it's a different story. We had a corporate office in our local Pizza Hut, the one that was in, near my house in Portland, Oregon. And we had the big bosses coming in there all the time. We had the inspectors coming in. So they were using our facility as like a home base. They were using our facility as a training center. I forgot that I was training folks. I think the only thing that I didn't do, I did this evaluation for supervisor. I should have supervisor jobs. The only thing that I didn't officially do was approve a timesheet. Like a final timesheet. I don't think, doesn't HR do that? Anyways, I should say that I had experience, but not the 2 years, because I can do independent contract out of my own businesses. Anyway, that's a different story. Let's start at the top. The point of that is people are looking at you, especially, I talked about racist and professionalism. They're looking at you like, oh, you're black. You try to say you're a doctor, but you're not, because if you were, you wouldn't be working at Pizza Hut. You'd be living in a place like the Hamptons. Like, you wouldn't be doing $12 an hour minimum wage as a cook that doesn't even earn tips. It's insulting, all the stuff. I've seen certain drivers give certain people, cooks, money on certain orders. I think there should be a opportunity. Anyways, that's something else. That's a different topic. You just have to move jobs then, right? Anyways, it's a different job. Or a different part of the conversation. The reason I say it's corporate, because there are so many strict corporate rules. You gotta do this, you gotta do this, you have to dress a certain way, you have to have this type of uniform on, you have to say this to the customer, that you have to have all these scripts. And it was just like, everything's about the numbers. Literally, we had the charts, computer charts that the boss would call all hours of the day and night if he wasn't there, or my supervisor. So I ended up assistant manager. You gotta look at the charts. Even if you're shift lead, you have to look at the charts and see the numbers, and the numbers, you're crunching the numbers and sending people home when you don't want to, because it was slow at 10 o'clock in the morning. But now that it's a holiday or something at 7 to midnight, it's like, oh, well, you gotta send all those people home because we didn't make enough money for the day. Like, that's the way that I looked at it. No, I wasn't coming to work in a suit and tie. I'm sitting in a big office with a bunch of people around the table drinking coffee with a PowerPoint presentation, going back to my little place. But I felt like that, and I've never had a job like that. So my point was that I wasn't just working for a local company. I wasn't just working for a local pizzeria, family owned or some kind of thing where they don't have, anyone can have those strict rules. But it wasn't all funneling and zapping the life out of the low paid workers and pushing any pennies that come up to the people at the top, the CEOs and the presidents and the big bosses making the, $200 grand a year. Like, and those are like regional, even the local bosses. You're just pushing that money and you're just cutting the discounts for the customers all the time. You're just like, almost like free. And then there was no free food. I don't even think there was much of a discount if you bought food. What was it, 10% or something? So if it's $10, you're going to pay $9. Like, thank you on this minimum wage salary. All right, let's go back to notary. So what's bothering me right now is, this is mainly for, so general notary work, the state's driving me crazy with the $4 per notarial act. I already mentioned that, but for the loan signing, the typical, you need the extra certification, you need to take the class, you need to have this certain type of insurance, which most people want, 1 million minimum. So you're paying all these monthly fees to keep the business just legitimate, or at least for the signing companies and title companies you're under. And someone was willing to pay for like a Sunday or a Saturday signing during the refi boom, not even just for refi, for seller's package. People were willing to pay $275, and you're not even negotiating. They were just like, shoot, this is on Mother's Day. Shoot, this is on late on Saturday, early on Saturday. $225. Like, they offer it, you're like, okay. Or $175 for a regular, sometime between 9 and 5, or 9 and 7, like a reasonable time a day, no scans, fairly close, within 35-minute drive from your office, and then they were at least giving you $125, $150. Now they're like $40, $60. Oh, how much will you take? You throw out some number, and they're like, okay, and you're like, oh shoot, I should have asked for twice as much, because you're trying to not lose jobs, because if you don't have any jobs, you still have to pay the fees associated with it. I just had to pay again. I got to actually call a National Notary Association about doing a renewal through a link instead of renewing. So I've been getting mail every day, and I've been popping into their website and seeing this, it's time for you to renew. I was like, oh, did it not associate that renewal from the link that I did through a Facebook group? Why are the companies last year, most of the signing services, so kind of the middleman between the lender or the title companies, signing services, notaries, and loan signing agents, why was it last year that these people were contacting customers, setting up the appointments, and then just handing down the papers? You show up at the appointed time. Most of the time, I swear I remember them saying, do not contact the customer. We'll handle any changes. Contact us if you're late. Now, I'm getting emails that say the end of 2021, people were saying, you need to set up the appointment time. You need to confirm that, like, this is a range of times. You need to contact the customer and confirm a time and update it on the mobile site or our secure portal, whatever, notary portal. And they're like, sometimes you're calling for 5 days, 4 days, 3 days. You're not getting anyone. You got other things, other appointments, in and out of town, other jobs. You're traveling, sick. I don't want to print the documents if I don't want to print 475 pages if I haven't got a hold of the person. And you assume that title or signing services said, oh, this person said, yeah, I'll accept your notary, instead of finding my own or whatever, or, well, yeah, we have, Monday the 11th off. So, the morning's good. So they might say range from 9 to 12, or they might throw down 11:30 appointment. Oh, yeah, I'm available. Or you get a text that says, are you available at 11:30? Like, no, I'm not available at 11:30. I'm available at 12:15. And what sucks is they might not have confirmed the appointment with the person. I might say, I have another appointment that I'm not going to be available till 12:15. Can they bump it up 45 minutes? And I usually don't hear back. I said, I'm available at a different time. Someone else gets the job because they snatch up that time. And so now I'm seeing before, it's pretty much set in stone. They did not want you to change the appointment. Call the customer. Now they're like, you go ahead and call the customer. So not only are they telling me to call the customer, sometimes they send something out. It doesn't say call the customer. It says, we have reports that the notary did not call and confirm the appointment with the signers. Like, last year we were told not to do that. Like, we were told, like I said, even if you're 15 minutes late, you weren't supposed to call them and say, hey, I'm right around the corner. I'll be there. Like, even, like, I think, like, I didn't want to be lost and be like, I can't find your address, because they're telling you don't contact them. So, we weren't aware. We were having everything already set up. Our basic thing was to print the papers the right way and get the, view their IDs and watch them sign it and notarize that. I hear something out there. Anyways, it's making me mad because they're giving you less fees and having you do this phone tag. I'm calling from this phone number that's not in the state. I'm trying to text people. I'm getting hung up on people. I'm using my house / my phone for my clinic, because it's a local number sometimes, but I don't want anyone calling back because that's not a good callback number, especially if I'm out a lot. So that's a problem I'm finding, is the out-of-state number. This past weekend I had a signing and I didn't print the documents. It was one of those huge sets of papers. They wanted it all on legal, which they didn't tell me that before. This was 180 pages. They didn't tell me that. I printed them on letter / legal the way that they were given to me. Because the one lady was like, oh, they can make them letter. So their direction says if you print it on letter, you're going to get a $10 decrease. And they said, have the signer's copy in letter. I'm like, good, because I'm not reprinting it again. If your Walmart is out of paper, you're going to go to Office Max, or Staples or whatever for, I don't know about Office Max. Staples is going to be like $17, and the last time I went, there was like, 3 reams of paper left on the shelf. I had to buy it. I had to buy it because I've been trying to order from Walmart, and I'll order different brands. They do this with water, or different. There's like 2 packs. There's 1 pack. I think, oh, I just need 2 reams. I don't trust them. I ordered 2 reams plus like another 2 separate rings. Those 2 came, and this one, or those 2 maybe I had to go pick up at the store in the parking lot, and the other one was like on its way all week and said, oh, we canceled the order. So that's why I sometimes double it or get it from different brands, which I don't like to do, because then I can see the inconsistency with the paper brightness. Some is like dull and some is like bright white. I don't like that either. But I just need to get it signed right so that this is a legal document that somebody's life depends on this stuff. Another issue, they're not telling the signers how long it's taking to do the paperwork. They're not giving the signers anymore any representatives' phone numbers or emails if they have questions. They're not telling the signers that they need a witness or 2 witnesses, non-relatives. No instructions whatsoever. And people are being told that a representative from our company is going to come do this appointment. So I got scolded the other day because you're not a representative. And I told them my other job. I was like, no, I don't. Like, how many of these do you do a week? I was like, I don't know. Really, this is one of my jobs. I'm like, I work as a doctor. Like, I own my own clinic that I brought out from Oregon. And the lady rolls her eyes like I was lying. And I mean, I had done, I only do like about 3 a week. I've been doing like 3 or 4 signings a week, and the only one I got paid for since January has been, is it January or February? Since February, it's, oh my god, look at the date. It's almost freaking, I gotta go in like a little while. It's almost, April, and I haven't got paid for February, like February 16th, I think, or February 11th signings. I needed that money. Okay, I can understand if I didn't get that money for April's rent, but I'm not going to have that for May's rent. A whole bunch of jobs I haven't got paid except for one direct. And that guy sent it to my house before the signing and after he received the package back. He sent me a split payment, like a business check straight to my home. So I don't understand why these people can't pay us, because it's starting to fall. I'm starting to think I'm getting scammed. I'm not. These people call me again. I said I haven't got paid from like 7 weeks ago. 8 weeks ago. I don't know if I can accept more jobs from you, because these were big jobs. These were big, messy, far away. So they're paying you less, they're making you contact the customer. Customers are waiting, they're not answering the phone, they're not responding. They're being told that there's a representative. They're mad that I am saying I'm not legally allowed to answer questions for you. I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a real estate agent, I'm not your lender, and I'm not your title company. And I'm representing someone who's allowing me to, or trusting me, I should say, not allowing, trusting me with these documents to get them to you and get them so that they don't have blanks and that the correct areas are notarized, so that the county and the banks and the title can approve of all this stuff and you can get your transaction completed. So I don't think it's fair that they're lowering the rates and expecting us to do all this phone tag. I don't expect, what is the other thing that's costing money? My witness fee for myself would be $25. That's basically because I've been hiring a witness to come with me to some things local. That's not that much money, especially if it takes over an hour. If it takes 2-3 hours, including the driving, and what if they had to drive themselves? Like, $25 is chicken crap, but even though chicken crap is kind of valuable. But somebody's today, right now, I gotta go and get the, hello? I thought I, so if the companies are not informing the signers that they need a non-relative witness, that they need this and this and this, and if I don't like something, the paperwork, or the customer refuses to sign something, or is missing a witness, and they're not going to go outside and go knock on a neighbor's door. They maybe don't have any neighbors that are going to do it. Can't force them to do it. They should have known this a week ago. They should have known this a month ago. This customer. And they're expecting us to do everything the right way. Every little thing, they're going to dock you pay. They're going to refuse to pay. You drive it 1 or 2, 3 hours with $20 worth of paper and toner in your bag. Getting dressed up, being late because the signer's taking too long, or they're not home. You miss your other job. You have to call out because something that you estimated under 4 hours ended up taking 6. And then these fools don't pay you that dang $60. You're like, the print fee and the gas is more than that. But I was trying to get back into that after having COVID and being like pushed to the bottom of the pile because people started doing way more signings where I live because they saw there was a lot of demand. Anyways, the second topic is preparedness minded, and I was thinking of it as a notary and loan signing agent. The simple staying in business. Do you have an extra car you can use? Do you, if something happens to yours, or at least a ride that's not going to cost you hundreds of dollars? Do you have food and water, blanket in your car? Simple business stuff. Do you have extra printer, toners? Do you have a backup printer? You need to use your own stuff because it's confidential stuff, and you need to have your printer destroyed when it no longer is being used. If you're not just gonna sell these printers, and that stuff is saved on a card. People need to remove that, or that's why people punch holes in hard drives of computers, and And people would be able to extract. Even in a recycling place, you need somewhere they might not do that says they're going to destroy the original data on there, because just like the medical field, you got all these people's personal stuff, social security numbers, birth dates, and income and all that, names and full addresses and stuff. Being self-employed and having the income fluctuate, or even like me being partly self and partly full, partly an employee, these people want to pull at you and throw you pennies. These people want to give you a reasonable fee, even though it's nickel and diming you. You can pay your bills if you can do this consistently, but these people are pulling you because you signed a contract with HR that said that you would do this job for them for a certain amount of hours, even if it's flexible. They want to be like, oh yeah, we only gave you 12 hours a week, but for the next 2 weeks, we're telling you starting today, which we didn't even tell you, that you're going to have to do 40 hours to cover something. Like, oh, you should have told us that 2 weeks ago, or 4 weeks ago, or at least last week, because we're trying to get some reasonable loan signings under our wing, because this job ain't paying the bills, this job ain't paying the gas, this job ain't paying the heat, and you need to dress professionally. How do you dress professionally? Like, you have to dress professionally. They're telling you give away all your pens. Last year I couldn't hardly find blue pens, and I was paying a buttload of money at the postal suites for pens, buying one pen at a time. Zapping a pen from Walmart that's like a pen look like for toddlers, it's so small, and you're like, you want me to give away all my pens? I can't even find pens. You're telling me to use black pens I could find, but not the blue ones, so I'm gonna have to sterilize it. Like, I mean, unless you guys are gonna say, we're using hand sanitizer, use our own mask, we're using our own wipes, or you want us to wipe everything down, and you got people coughing all over the papers and risking your life while they're in the office saying, we're getting $3.79 for the signing, and we're gonna give you $80, and it's an hour and 15 minutes from your office or from your house. So make sure you have gas in your car. Make sure you have, like, this might not be a good idea, but you could put at least a few dollars of cash in your glove box, or something like $5 maybe. If you do general notary, you should have change. I heard you can carry protection if you are general. If you're carrying cash for your job and you're going to people's houses, I heard you could carry certain kind of protection. You have to take classes depending on your state, because you could get robbed. People could see you with your briefcase and dress nice and professional demeanor, and they don't know what you're doing, but you look like you're selling something or whatever. The racism and business and professionalism. So a lot of my family members have stayed, like, say for Detroit or the DC area, they have stayed in the black community, Richmond, Virginia, Columbus, and Dayton, Ohio. They have lived in the black area, and oftentimes their parents and great-grandparents have been in this segregated part of this region, city, county, and they haven't been integrated into a neighborhood. I see blacks and whites. I see some middle range neighborhoods where there'll be one or two black families and a lot of white families, maybe a couple Asian American, and then all of a sudden white flight. And then the people are going to work. There'll be high people of color, they're going to school, but where I end up, because of school, work, because of circumstance, because of availability of housing, it's not very integrated, it's not very diverse. And So I see my family members saying back then, like, oh, you have to work 10 times harder to get even below what a white person gets. Like, if you're trying to get a job, you're trying to get into a certain school, like, you gotta get like 100+% on your test, where these people can get like 80s to 95s, on their, So, in my opinion now, I swear it's changed like 100 times. The people I know that have worked in the Black community, even in Portland, they kind of stayed in that, and religious family, friends, associates, people they put classes on for, and they didn't have as much of the racism with, hey, you're a professional, hey, you're a birth worker, hey, you have your own company, hey, you're a doctor, hey, you're a doula. So there's a pool. They would sometimes be a token, like, oh, this hospital is going to give your organization a grant because you're helping Black births. And they kind of are like, look, we're patting ourselves on the back with getting on this hipster diversity thing before all that stuff happened in 2020, where everyone's trying to be like, oh, we need Black lives, and we need this. Like, that should have been something since the beginning of time, since most of those people's ancestors even came here, because a lot of us have already been here since the 1600s. So I think some people don't recognize that people are looking at how you're dressed, how your hair is. Like, certain people won't be as frightened because you have a weave that's straight versus my hair. They're gonna be like, she's like some weird cartoon character. And so you have to think about who's in your... Do you live in a town where your parents live and you went to a certain church, you can go to church events and see people and, I remember you, and they give you a hug and this and that, versus you go to a town and you go to a religious facility or a recovery meeting like you, and you're the only person that looks like this. There might be 2 or 3 other of you sitting in the back. Why are we always sitting in the back? Maybe we don't feel comfortable. And then these people, like, scowl. And you're like, I'm here because I have like-minded morals and values. I ain't here trying to use you. I think they think you're coming in there trying to get welfare from them or something. Because I know people that were the same color as them that used them, and they had the poor me, but they were going to every other religious organization in their neighborhood doing the same thing, and like, oh, this person is handicapped. They don't know any better. Like, they planned to scam you. So when you're a professional and you're going in and out of houses, out here, people are looking at me like the help. Like, oh, that's the help. Like, you're being sent by somebody. It's like, you're being sent by someone because you're the business owner. You're a businesswoman or businessman, and you're the one having all the certifications, all of the equipment inside of your home office or your regular office. You're carrying your mobile notary bag, you have your stamps, you have your envelopes, you have your FedEx, your label holder things, which I need to not be afraid to use, your UPS or whatever delivery, and you are carrying yourself to say, like, for me, I'm a Libra and I'm an air sign, so I'm like, not trying to make you think I'm robbing your house. Your neighbors are looking at me funny. Like, you gotta go in there and say, hey, if it weren't for me doing his job right now, your real estate or your power of attorney or your whatever document is not going to get approved. And you're going to have to go somewhere and, I don't know how to say it, but don't let the people devalue you. I'm 45. I've let them devalue me for 45 years. I've had people, so-called helpers, doctors, counselors, now a mentor, that are trying to shrink me down, pastors, instructors, school advisors, try to shrink me down to be like, get in your corner and stay there. You ain't going to be affluent with us. It doesn't matter if you have 10 times a better degree than us. You're going to stay over there, and we're going to be here, and we're going to choose some token people that have a certain way to speak. They sound like they're from the inner city, and they're like, and they dress more professionally. They're wearing eyelashes, nails, and you're just sitting here like this. they're looking at me too if they can't see my gray hair, and they're like, child, like, you don't know anything, and they're being disrespectful. Like, dude, I can tell you're in your 20s or 30s. I'm twice as old as you, at least, or almost twice as old as you. It doesn't matter. There's no respect. If you're a person of color and you look younger than other folks, even some people of color don't recognize it's black don't crack. And I'm saying this because a lot of notaries around are people of color or blacks. They're gonna look at you and be like, oh, this professional person can't say this young person. Because I hear some people that look like young, act young, and then they say they have their kids the same age as mine, and I'm like, oh, but we gotta leave here. I gotta look one more time for nope, they didn't respond yet. Oh yeah, they did. That just says comment received. It just says, so I just basically got the same email that I sent was forwarded to me. I don't know how that helps anything except for it's timestamped. Trying to make sure nothing went in the spam. But I saw Griffin Notary talking about someone didn't have their second ID, and they said, well, that person was moving and they packed in a different place 20 minutes away. He said he didn't call, say, oh, I need to go over here. He said, let's get in the car and go. Now, some people, like, some of us, I don't like doing that. It's more gas at your car and stuff, but I could see the focus is what we did a lot of these jobs. It wasn't a lot of us. Some of us want it for the money. Some of us want to help people and make it convenient for them and make it be friendly and polite because the banks aren't sometimes title's not responding to your calls and all this stuff. So, but the way I see it, when people look at you when you look young, and you talk about your kids and you're like, oh yeah, my kid's 22 in grad school, and they're like, what? Or you tell them that your kid's studying this difficult subject and they're looking at you like you're lying, trying to look flat, like flatter people. Like, I'm embarrassing myself. I'm a doctor and I'm sitting over here watching you sign your name and stamping it. So I can keep my medical doors open because people don't want to pay me. So that's just a whole nother story, but I've been letting 45 years of them trying to push me in a corner and say I can't, and you can't. They're going to tell you, you can't be a loan signing agent. You can't make $10,000 a month doing whatever it is you're doing. And what the thing is, they're looking at you thinking they don't want to have you surpass them professionally. But those people are making $4,000 a month. And they're working for someone else for W-2. And they're dressing them and driving a nice car that they have a debt and have a house with a debt. And they're looking at you like, no, you're not going to make $150,000 doing this, or even $45,000. But you're already doing it. That's the thing. You are doing it and you're capable of doing it. And they're projecting, again, they don't want you to pass them. And they're projecting onto you. Even single mom, doesn't even have to be a color thing. Someone with or without education. Just someone that's the same exact demographics as them. They're not willing to quit their job and take the risk that you're taking to support yourself and your family.